ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it's that time of the week and that time of the night and that time of the week. Get your cocktails ready, because it is time to start the show.
Looking a little ordinary? Is it lacking something awesome? Well, head out to your local liquor store and pick up something extraordinary. Grab a bottle of Old Humble Straight Whiskey or Old Humble Special Reserve. They're clean, smooth, easy drinking whiskeys that taste the way whiskey should taste. From humble beginnings to an extraordinary finish, Old Humble whiskeys are what your bar needs today. Walk tall, be awesome, and drink humble. Old Humble Straight Whiskey and Old Humble Special Reserve. Get yours today.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, get yours today. The ad twins tell you to do something, you need to do it, because they are awesome people, those ad twins. And I believe, I can't confirm it, I'm not for sure certain, but I think they're Texas-based. So there you go. Today is the 27th of September, the last Wednesday in the month of September, which means it's the last live in the month of September for you to get your name on the Wheel of Doom and Glory. I am the Old Humble Guy, and I will be your host and the sponsor of this show. I'm drinking my Boomtown Bourbon. We're going to open with our opening shot and opening toast to you, fine folks. May the evening be as pleasant as the day, or more pleasant than the day. May the evening be more pleasant than the day, but not as pleasant as the morning. Cheers to you fine folks. It's like a symphony on my lips and tongue. Mwah, I love it. So what is this Wheel of Doom and Glory you speak of, Old Humble Guy? Well, that is a great question. Also me. The Wheel of Doom and Glory is a spinning wheel that has all of the names of the people who've gotten into the chat over the last month or so for all of our live streams that we've done. If you've gotten into chat, your name is getting added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. That Wheel of Doom and Glory will be spun twice. The first time is the spin of Doom, and that gets your name kicked off the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Just that one instance gets you kicked off the Wheel of Doom and Glory. The second spin is the spin for Glory. And that spin for glory will get you, if you win the second spin, will get you a prize package worth, is that it? There it is, of a sample pack of our delicious whiskeys, as well as a cigar from our friends down at the smoking room. That'll be one of their proprietary blends. One of their proprietary special class of cigars right there. Has their logo on it right there. That is their private blend of cigar. It is a very tasty cigar. Certainly one that I enjoy when I drink my whiskey, and one that you will enjoy when drinking our samples of whiskeys, I think, which is why I want to share it with you. Yes, I do believe they deliver. Thank you for asking. But I will be putting together that gift box beginning this weekend. Probably be live streaming it Saturday afternoon. As we do it. So there you go. You are entered in, and I see Tater Dom's name, the first in chat today. John Longshanks, sorry, you are a first class mod. You are my personal mod. You do not get entered. But thanks for trying there, Johnny. I do appreciate the help you extend every week, Mr. Longshanks. And also Sunflowers. There's Sunflowers joining into the party. Sunflowers, welcome to you. Tonight's show, so the way the show flows, for those who don't know, I'm working towards professionalizing the channel a little bit more uh, because we are in fact monetized. Which means we can do super chats, and that also means that every time you send me a $1 super chat, for every $1 you send me through super chat, your name goes onto the wheel of doom and glory an additional time. So everybody who's gotten into chat for the last 6 or 7 shows, their name is on the wheel 6 or 7 times, however many times they've gotten into the show. But also people who've sent super chats. You want to get your name on 10 more times? $10 super chat. 15 more times? $15 super chat. Just one more time? $1 super chat. Put it in super chat. I'll say whatever it is you put in super chat for me to say. I will note your comment. I will say it word for word. I will answer whatever dumb question you have for me to answer. I will ask whatever dumb question you want me to ask. I don't have anybody to ask it to, but I will ask that question. I will highlight whatever dumb comment you want me to highlight. Community standards still apply. Community standards still apply. And that's actually going to be a very important. I need to trim my beard. That's going to be very important in the next part when I talk about memberships. But I'm going to talk about memberships after the next thing that I talk about. I do want to note, very importantly, that our whiskeys are available online in 34 states. You can find them in any of these states right here. You go to our website, oldhumble.distilling.com/shop online. It's pinned in comments right there at the top of the comment list. Use discount code MAKEIT2, the numeral 2, and you get free shipping on any 2 bottles purchased. Shipped right to your door. Delicious, nutritious whiskey. Everything you wanted in a bottle of whiskey and more. Shipped right to your door unless you live in those gray states. Those gray states do not deliver whiskey because they're bad. They're just bad places to live. You should move out of those states and move to states that are good places to live. Anyway, okay, so that's the second thing on my list of stuff that I want to talk about. The third thing on my stuff to talk about is that we will be beginning our build out in earnest. So we just did our last couple of days ago, day before yesterday, we had a day in the life from the distillery. So you were able to see me bottling up our Boomtown bourbon. We're going to have at least one more day where I'm labeling that and boxing up all the bottles and getting them ready to ship while I'm filtering our straight whiskey and getting our straight whiskey ready to bottle. And then we begin the build out of the tasting room in earnest, which is actually in Humble, not earnest. But we begin the build out. I'm getting supplies this weekend. I'm measuring out the space for the room to make sure I get the right amount of supplies and the right wall studs and runners and all the stuff that we need to build the walls. There will be a second trip probably to buy the sheetrock. Because I'm not gonna have room in my van to buy everything all at once, so the sheetrock has to wait for a second trip. But that's fine because the electrician needs to come and run wires and cables and all the stuff for the room anyway. So I'm not gonna sheetrock it in on day one. All I'm gonna do is be framing that up, and of course that is gonna be live on our show as well. Day in the life episodes are going to include that all the stuff that we do in the day in the life. Construction around the shop, bottling the whiskey. We're going to get to the point where we're actually doing day in the life where we're distilling whiskey, probably in the next 6 months. It's just not a really exciting. It's not a really exciting day when I'm just sitting there watching alcohol boil through a still. I mean, most of the time I'm reading. But we could do a game show or something like that while we're doing that. That won't be too bad. It won't be too bad. It won't be too tough. Speaking of which, we are in development for two game shows. One is a game night program, which would probably be a D&D campaign, which will be free for everybody. But if you want to join the campaign, you have to be a member of the channel. And the second will be a full-on game show. If you want to watch it live, you're going to need to be a member of the channel. If you want to participate in the game show, you're going to need to be a member of the channel as well. But if you want to watch the free replays, you want to watch the replays are going to be open to the public. So those are going to be some of the member benefits that you have when you become a member of the channel. We have 3 member tiers. We have an associate producer member tier, which I believe is only $2 a month. That gives you access to members only chat, members only shows, members only emojis, and all that other shit. The second tier, I believe, is $5 a month, and that gives you access not only to the previous stuff, but also gives you access to be on the panels when we do members only chat, members only panels, members only game shows where you can be part of the game. You can actually be part of the show. And when we do sip-alongs, we're going to start sending out samples to our members, and our members will be able to get a sample. You get a sample of our whiskey. We'll do a tasting live with members on the channel, on the show, and that'll be a members-only broadcast, and then we'll release it to the public after the live is done. And then the third tier, the top tier, is the roughneck tier. The roughneck tier is the tippy top tier. And everybody who becomes a member gets an associate producer credit on our production screen. Let me show you that production screen. That production screen we will add something to our production screen with a special thanks to our members, and our members will be right there. Our members will be right there on the production screen. Special thanks to our members. Associate producers is what I'll call them, and I'll also put a plaque in the distillery because y'all helped to build the tasting room. But the Wildcatters, no, not the Wildcatters. That's the second tier. The Roughnecks, the third tier. You guys get to name the studio for a month. It'll rotate between the Roughnecks. You get the rights to name our studio for a month. So right now I'm broadcasting from the Old Humble Distilling Company Pandemic Studio. Coming to you live from the Old Humble Distilling Company Pandemic Studio. I set this studio up in March of 2020 during the pandemic. It's not really a studio. It's an office. That light is strobing and getting on my nerves. I want it to fade. Here we go. Is that better? Yeah, that's much better. It was strobing with my voice, and it was getting on my nerves. I was seeing it in the background. It was bothering me. Anyway, tonight we're broadcasting from the Old Humble Distilling Company Pandemic Studio. It was set up in March of 2020, but we could be broadcasting from the Old Humble, whatever you want to call it, studio, as named by our Roughneck member. Let's use John Longshanks. John Longshanks can say it's going to be the PP Poo Poo Studio for the month of October. And it'll be, all right, I'm the Old Humble guy broadcasting live from the PP Poo Poo Studio. This is the Old Humble Distilling Company happy hour. Blah, blah, blah. But you can have it whatever you want. Community standards apply. So it will not be the Trump 1 studio. Sorry, I veto that. We do not peddle in bullshit and nonsense. We do nonsense. Good old-fashioned, good-natured nonsense, but we don't do bullshit and nonsense. We do bullshit, we do nonsense, but we do not do bullshit nonsense. So there you go. So that's our road show's done. We've got several shows in development. We're working on some things. Mostly I'm working on whiskey, getting whiskey in bottles, getting whiskey out of barrels, getting whiskey into bottles, getting bottles into boxes and boxes onto trucks, and eventually those bottles into homes. We're working on all of that stuff. We're working on all aspects of this to get things moving faster, and moving better, so that I can be back here next year doing the same stuff that I'm doing now, only with better equipment, better lighting, better cameras, better lighting, better studio. We're gonna move a lot of our production and broadcast from this studio, the Pandemic Studio, to the Tasting Room Studio at the shop on Friday nights. After we close up shop, I'll turn on the cameras. We'll go live Friday nights. Saturday after we close up, I'll turn on the cameras. We'll go live Saturday. Some of our game nights will be live and in person at the Tasting Room. So we got all kinds of fun stuff that we're doing. So much fun stuff that we're doing, and I want y'all to be a part of it. So super chats are active, memberships are active. Please be members. Be members of the channel. I will give you my undying appreciation for supporting the channel and helping us grow. And all the proceeds from the YouTube channel go back into the YouTube channel with video devices, editing, editors. I don't edit. I'm not good at editing. I could do it, but I have other shit to do. I don't have time to spend 6, 7, 8 hours on a 90-second video. I'll pass that off to Fiverr consultants who can do the editing for me. I got smarts in my brain. Pass the stuff off that I can pass off. That's what you do. But we got a show. We got an actual show, an actual topic tonight. We're talking about hunting Bigfoots. So it came to my attention through the glory of shorts, the wondrous interconnectivity of shorts on the YouTubes. By the way, over here in chat, chat over here or down here, wherever chat is on your screen, Feel free to start loading up on the comments. I'm going to read every single comment as we go through it. Super chats go to the front of the line. As soon as I'm done with the monologue, super chats go to the front of the line. I read the super chats and we go. But I'm going to read every single comment that comes my way, and we will be here until comments run out. My goal is midnight. If it goes till 2 or 3 in the morning, so be it. It goes till 2 or 3 in the morning. I also have the power to hit a button and do advertisements on the show. I have a little button right there on my monitor that I can hit, bip, and we can go to a commercial. So when it does come time for me to run to the little Old Humble Boys room, I can hit a commercial. I'll go run and I'll go do that. Then I'll be back. Hopefully it'll work. I don't know. If not, then we'll just do the. I need to have a screen with background music. Hold tight. Old Humble had to pee. Technical difficulties, and have a guy sitting over the toilet going while music plays in the background. That would be great. That would be absolutely hilarious. Okay, so it came to my attention during the last couple of weeks that actually the last 2 or 3 weeks, actually the last several weeks, that people in YouTube's and the internets believe all kinds of dumb nonsense, including but not limited to giants existed, Bigfoot exists, dinosaurs don't exist or didn't exist. Of course, we all know that idiots believe or contend that the Earth is flat. I don't really think they believe that shit. All kinds of dumb nonsense. Contrails, God genes, conspiracies to sterilize millions and billions of people across the globe, skipping generations so that we crash the population back down to 500 million people. Complete fanciful, nonsensical crap. But people seem to really, really believe with their whole chest that Bigfoot exists. People even claim that they've seen him. But we're going to talk about how to hunt Bigfoot. So first what you do is you get a fake gun because Bigfoot's fake. So you get a big fake gun. And then you don't go into the woods because he doesn't live there. And you don't go into the plains because he doesn't live there. And you don't go into the mountains because he doesn't live there. So you take your fake gun and don't go everywhere. And then when you don't see him, you don't shoot him because he doesn't exist. I mean, I don't want to discount the phenomenon because we know, I mean, he's a cult hero, whatever, hide and seek champion since, 18 whatever. But here's the thing. This is the critical thinking thing. There's been no feces, no bones, no fur, no footprints, no anything, no trace of this creature. I've seen dead squirrels. I've seen dead armadillos. I've seen dead possums. I've seen dead dogs, dead horses, dead cows, dead bulls, dead goats, dead boars, dead pigs, dead birds of all stripes, from pigeons to pheasants to sparrows, bluebirds, blue jays. You name it. I've seen the birds. I've seen all kinds of birds, dead birds. Evidence that they existed. Even if I didn't see an armadillo, I've seen a dead armadillo, so I know that armadillos exist. Even if I've never seen a possum, I've seen dead possums. I know possums exist. And I've seen possums. Even if I've never seen a deer running across a field, I've seen dead ones. I know they exist. Never, ever, not once, ever has a dead Sasquatch been seen. Ever. Anywhere. Ever. Ever. Never once has his fur been found on a tree or a bush or shed fur in a nest, in a hovel, in a cave. Never. Never has there been a campsite, a cooking ring, a fire ring, a hearth. Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Never has there been evidence of food, feces, fecal matter. Never has there been um, leftovers, bones that have been scraped clean, or fires that have been tamped out with. I mean, we have more evidence of early American Indians than we do of Sasquatch. We have more evidence of the first visitors to our continent. We have more evidence of mastodons in North America than we do Sasquatch. We have more evidence of dinosaurs from millions of years ago than we do of Sasquatch contemporaneously with us. We have people saying, "Oh, I've seen one." Have you? Have you? Or have you seen a shadow in the woods? Have you heard a Sasquatch, or have you heard an animal in the woods, in the undergrowth, in the brush? Yeah, I mean, I've seen shadows in the woods, but that doesn't immediately lead me to Sasquatch or aliens or whatever the hell else. Shadows in the woods can be all kinds of things: coyotes, possums, deer, bears, shadows, just plain old shadows cast by trees. Humans are remarkably bad at identifying specific things. We're really good at identifying a potential thing that might be a threat. That's how we evolved into humans and survived millions of years, hundreds of thousands of years for Homo sapiens sapiens, tens of thousands of years for Homo sapiens sapiens, but hundreds of thousands of years as a loosely organized Homo species, and millions of years as a loosely organized branch off of the lineage of great apes that eventually became the Homo genus. We see shadows, and in those shadows, we see potential danger. We put together shapes and find forms, and we create order out of chaos, oftentimes when there's nothing even there. That's what we do as people. We're good at that. We're very good at that. We are evolutionary champions at doing that. That's how we avoided getting eaten by tigers and lions and monsters of all sorts. That's how we avoided it, because we would see tigers where there weren't tigers. We would see lions where there weren't lions. We would see Bigfoots where there weren't Bigfoots. And you know what happened to the people who didn't see Bigfoots where there were Bigfoots, didn't see lions where there were lions, and didn't see tigers where there were tigers? Well, for two of those three, they got eaten. The other one, they didn't get nothing. They may have gotten eaten by a bear because they didn't see a Bigfoot where there was a Bigfoot, and the Bigfoot turned out to be a bear, and they got eaten. Those guys got eaten. That's how we can see dragons and clouds. That's how we can see conspiracies where they don't exist. Sometimes it does us really great. Does really great for our survival. Sometimes it doesn't, and it leads us to do riots and stuff like on January 6th. Yeah, I said that. Sometimes it's good for us. Sometimes it's bad for us. Most of the time, it doesn't make any difference, and we just, we avoided getting eaten by a monster that wasn't there. And that's why we can reasonably look at the evidence and data and say, yeah, this thing doesn't exist. There weren't giants didn't exist because we don't have any evidence for giants. Bigfoot doesn't exist because we don't have any evidence for Bigfoot. But dinosaurs do because we have evidence for dinosaurs. Or they did. They did. One of my best favorite species is the dinosaurs. So here's how you hunt a Sasquatch. Here's how you hunt Bigfoot. You don't, because it doesn't exist. I mean, I don't know how many different ways I could say that. It doesn't. Like, we don't have evidence that it does, one, but we also have ample evidence that even in the ecosystem where it would exist, it can't. And that's another way you rule out the possibility. It's like 2 plus 2 can't possibly equal 5, so 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 5. There's not a scenario in which 2 plus 2 does equal 5. Because it just can't happen. These things are when you rule out the possible, when the only thing open to you is impossible, then that's the only thing you're left with. Not mind you, not improbable. The probability of Sasquatch existing in the wild is also 0. But the possibility, it's always possible. Like the possibility is minuscule, right? The probability is 0 until there's other evidence. Like it's always possible. Like if somebody comes and says, "Here's a pelt of a Bigfoot," we'll be like, "Oh, well, let's get that checked out. This could be something. Maybe there's a whole like section of the wilderness that we've never, maybe the whole section of the ecosystem that we haven't scoped out, that we haven't studied, that we haven't seen, that we don't know about." Possible. It's possible. It's possible. I don't want to rule out the possibility because there's plenty of this world that's uncharted. There's plenty of places that mankind has never trod foot. There's plenty of things out there that are still unknown. Plenty. But the probability is so minuscule because even in the realm of the world that is unknown, it still functions like the rest of the world that is known. We're not going to find a part of the world where the trees grow upside down and the mountains grow are all hollow and made of candy corn or something nonsensical like that. We're not going to find some part of the world that doesn't follow the rules of the rest of the world. So it's not like we're going to find some big giant hairy beast that just lives on nothing, eats air and rainbows. These things still function the way everything else functions. They eat food, they poop, they pee, they shed fur. They presumably cook food. Maybe they don't cook food. Maybe they just eat their food raw. So there would be berries. Like there's got to be more than 2 of them. And if there's more than 2, then they change the environment around them. They make it livable. There would be traces, is what I'm trying to say. In the same way that there's trace evidence of dinosaurs, the same way there's trace evidence of microbes, the same way that there's trace evidence of climate change today, we have trace evidence of our own existence. If you never saw a human, if you never saw a physical, living, breathing, walking, talking human being, you could walk around and go see evidence of our existence. Evidence of our existence written on in the buildings that have been left behind. Evidence of our existence literally in the air we breathe. Evidence of our existence all across land. Like we are a evidence-leaving species of creatures. If you never saw a swimming fish, you would see evidence that fish existed, whether it was dead fish, bones, fish scales. We would see evidence of their existence, even if it didn't. The same way with Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, the outer planets of our own solar system. Before we saw them there, we saw evidence of their existence. We didn't have to see the planets. We didn't have to physically see them in a telescope to know they existed. Because there was evidence of their existence. Before they existed, we knew they were there. That's how we know giants don't exist, Bigfoot doesn't exist, dragons didn't exist. They were all mythical, fake make-believe creatures. Unicorns didn't exist. Like, we know this. We know this. We know this because we're not complete and total fucking idiots. We know this. We don't have to see the actual curvature of the earth to know the earth is not flat, because there's evidence of its existence literally written in the heavens. Like if there weren't people saying it, the rocks would testify to the existence of a round earth. The earth itself is its own testimony. And for Bigfoot, nothing is making that testimony. Nothing is making that case because there's nothing there. Bigfoot doesn't exist. So that's how you hunt Bigfoot. You use critical thinking skills. You see that it's just not. And I know people, I got attacked by Bigfoot. I heard him crashing rocks. Dude, I've heard crashing rocks in the wilderness too. You know what? You know what happens in mountains, in mountainous areas? Like erosion, rocks fall and they crash and they crack all the time. All the time. All the time. We were hiking in the Sedona Desert down in Arizona. Sedona. We're hiking down Sedona, and we heard this huge crashing in the distance. Big, huge crashing in the distance. First thought was not, oh, look, Bigfoot. The first thought was, wow, there was a rock slide. Because that's what rock slides, that's what happens. You get rock slides. What just happened? I lost the light. Hold on 1 second. See if I can fix this. Did that work? Yes. All right, did that work? Did I fix it? Did I lose internet connection there for a second? Shit. All right, we're back. Okay, everything's fixed. Whew. Technical difficulty theater. It's good stuff right there. This thing back on. Are we good? There's that. All systems are go. Nominal, operational. Yes, we're reconnected. Everything's good. Everything's good. Everything's golden. Thank you very much for your concerns. So anyway, as I was saying, that's how we know. That's how we know these things exist. That's how we know these things don't exist. And that's the difference between critical thinking and just not thinking at all. And saying, critical thinking, common sense isn't so common. No, common sense isn't what you want. Common sense isn't what you want to address with this. It's not common sense. It's scientific mind. Well, not even scientific mind. It's just like observational mind. Using actual thought and processing thought and learning how to think like a thinking person. I'm going to keep going until I see more chats popping up over here on the side, by the way. It's been 20 minutes. And I'm going to flip it over. At some point, I want to flip it over to chat and get chat initiated. But I need to see chats rolling down the side of the screen over here so that I can get to it. But yeah, when we were hiking in Sedona, we heard the rocks crash in the background. But then as we're hiking down this trail, we come up on an actual sinkhole in the ground, an actual opening in the ground where the substrata had eroded away and the surface had collapsed down. Big giant boulders had crashed down into this hole. And that was the visual evidence that we saw from our audible evidence that we heard of the rock crashing. Like this was what happened over there on the side of the mountain. Like these two things were related things. But this would have happened probably, we're going to go with probably months prior because there were actual trees and bushes and shrubs growing back up through the soil that would have been damaged or destroyed during the collapse. And that was, basic critical like deductive thought. You look at a thing, you go, okay, let's think about how this works, and you try to assemble what happens. But not everybody knows how to do that. I get that. I get that too. And when you get attacked by some creature in the woods, your brain starts to put together things. Like you see something that's unusual and unexpected. Like, for example, something unusual and unexpected when I was driving home from Dallas a couple of weeks ago. We see headlights on the freeway. I see headlights on the freeway. Like, this is not normal. 45 is a 6-lane highway, 3 lanes south, 3 lanes north. This is not normal. I see headlights. Like, it's normal to see headlights. You got 3 lanes here. There's lane, lane, lane. There's 3 lanes here. You see tail lights on this side. There's a median. And then on this side, you see headlights coming this way. Like, they're over here. That's normal. And then you see the one set of headlights that's like coming this way, and they keep moving this way towards you. They don't stay this way. They keep coming like right towards you. That's not normal. It took me a minute to process this. It was not normal. Not normal even a little bit. It took me a minute to process it. Like, why am I seeing headlights coming right at me? This isn't supposed to be happening. This is weird. They're getting bigger. They're coming at me quickly. It took, and I'm seeing this and I'm thinking through it. Like, this isn't normal. This is weird. They're coming right at me. What am I? Holy shit, there's a car traveling northbound on I-45 in the southbound lane. Yeah, I yanked it over fast. But that's not even the weird part. The weird part is that in the several days following that, my brain was still trying to process what it was that I saw. This weird thing that I saw that was a car, that I knew what it was, a car in the northbound lanes going the wrong damn way on the freeway. And my brain is processing through this, trying to tell me that what I saw, which was fucking weird, didn't make any sense to my brain. My brain's like, that doesn't make any sense to you. It can't possibly have been that thing. And I know it doesn't make sense to you because I am you and I'm your brain. And I had to think back at my brain. No, listen, we saw what we saw. And my brain would continue to be like, no, it couldn't have possibly been that. It was just a car going really slow whose taillights were not red. I remember thinking this, like in the Sunday following. This was like a Thursday or Friday that I saw it, and like on the Sunday following, I was thinking this in my brain. Like, no. Couldn't have possibly been a car going the wrong direction. That's bizarre and weird things like that don't happen. It had to have been a car going the right direction. Just going slowly, mind you, with the taillights that were clear instead of red. Like, that's a stupid brain. That's a stupid explanation. You need to try harder, brain. That's dumb. Brain, you're dumb. You're dumb, you're drunk, go home. Go home, you're drunk. Get some sleep. So, I've come to terms with that. I know what it was that I saw. And it was weird. And I could imagine that, you're out in the woods, you get attacked by a bear. You don't really see that it was a bear, and you're processing what it is. Like, no, I was definitely attacked by something. Could have possibly been a bear. I don't get attacked by bears. It was definitely Sasquatch. Because you wanted to be Sasquatch. I get that. You wanted to be Sasquatch. So make it be Sasquatch. But here's the thing. And this is really important to know. This is the really important thing. Come here. Let me. Just between you and me. Bigfoot doesn't exist. Got that? Get that? You get that? Do I need to go again? Bigfoot doesn't exist. Do I need to go one more time? All right. Bigfoot does not exist. There you go. That's it. That's the message for the night. I don't know who needs to hear it, but apparently some of you folks out there still need to hear it. Apparently that's the case. Bigfoot doesn't exist. Y'all, I hate to be the one to bear bad news, but there you go. All right, let's move over to chat. See if you people join the party. Give me something to talk about, peoples. There's our chat. Y'all been quiet. I have to do something about that. If I ain't got nothing to talk about, I ain't got a show to do. Oh, fun fact. Last week I talked about this stupid, nonsensical fucking third grade drama going on in the Texas State House with Greg Abbott. Not Greg Abbott. Bill Paxton. Not Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton is an actor. Uh, John Paxton? No, it's not John. Who is Paxton? What's his fucking name? Paxton. Ken. That's his name. Ken Paxton. So the stupidity of this has gotten even more stupid. So they start investigating Paxton for his crimes. They start investigating him in the Texas legislature for his crimes that he committed in 2017. They start investigating his crimes in March of 2023. And in August, Doug Phelan shows up drunk. Paxton says, he's drunk, he needs help. And then immediately after that, in September, he's impeached. The Republicans blame the Democrats, even though the Republicans control the House and the Senate. The Republicans can't get enough votes. They have 20, they need 21 to convict him. They can only get 20. So they all switch their votes to acquittal, except for 2 of them. And now those 2 are being called rhinos. And Paxton is blaming the Biden Justice Department for his impeachment in the Texas House. And they are blaming the Democrats for all their woes. The Republicans have controlled the state since the 90s. And now it gets even better. The latest development this last week in the last 7 days, was that Doug Phelan, the GOP, Republican Speaker of the House, in Texas, in a legislative body where they control well over 50%, close to 60% of all the seats. And if it weren't for gerrymandering, it would be closer to 50%. Has been called, the party is calling for him to resign. The Speaker of the House, they're calling for him to resign and calling him a rhino, a fake Republican. The drama never ceases to be funny. It never ceases to be funny. It is middle school drama at best. These people are dyed-in-the-wool, red state elephants. It's adorable. It is adorable. That's the state we live in. Welcome to Texas, people. At least the barbecue is good. And the whiskey's pretty fucking awesome, if I do say so myself. Anywho, all right. So we got memberships. I'm gonna run a commercial. I'll be back in a second. Beep. Insert ad. There we go. I hit the button. It says ad inserted. So there it is. All right. For those of you who don't get the ad, I don't know if everybody gets the ad, but this is an ad for the ad I'm seeing on my phone is Good Measure. Looks like cookies or something. Creamy nut butter bars, crunchy almond crisp. Let me know in chat what ad it is that you see. I'm curious. I just skipped it. I want to know what ad you see in on your screen over there, chat. So let me know. Let me know what ad you saw. I saw crunchy nut butters from the Good Measure people. Thank you for sponsoring the show, Good Measure people. Y'all are fine folks. I want to encourage everybody to go to their website, whatever it was on the ad, and order up an order of. Is it here on my screen? Order up an order of. The ad is for all. Let's see here. I'm gonna go to their webpage. The website is allgoodmeasure.com. A blood sugar friendly snacks. You go in, you get 15% off your first order if you register for their newsletter. Blood sugar friendly snacks made for you. There it is. That was the ad. We got Anthony Wilkerson in the house. Cheers, Anthony. Welcome to the party. You have been added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Congratulations. Make sure I spell that right, because I'm going to add you to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Anthony Wilkinson. Anthony Wilkinson. All right, so the Wheel of Doom and Glory will be spun in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, in October, we will spin the Wheel of Doom and Glory, which means you have 1 more week to get on the wheel. The Wheel of Doom and Glory is a listing of all the people who have joined our live chats over the past month and change. My count is at a little over 125 names right now. Every time you get in a chat, you get in the chat 1 time, you get added to the wheel 1 time. You're set. You're on the wheel. There will be 2 spins of the wheel. The first spin will be the spin of doom. Your name comes up on the spin of doom. That instance of your name comes off the wheel. We spin it again. It's the spin of glory. Doom and glory. The spin for glory, the spin for glory is a chance to win a sample pack of my whiskey. Let me see if I can find it. Is it that one? Yeah. You get a sample pack of my whiskey. They're not the full-size bottles. They're the 75 milliliter. Here they are. It is this. You get samples of our whiskey, of each one of our whiskeys. Assuming you're 21 or over, you get a sample of each one of our whiskeys. Straight whiskey, special reserve, double oak rye, and Boomtown bourbon. As well as a cigar from our friends over at the Cigar Room. You will get one of their proprietary blended cigars. All of that goes into a nice package and sent to your house where you can enjoy it at your leisure. And then that's it. It's 2 spins. But so for every time you get into chat, for joining us in chat, you get on the wheel. Just like our friend down here, Commandante Lou has just been entered in chat. Now, if you want to increase your odds, that's what super chats are for. Every $1 super chat gets you on the wheel again. So you want to get on the wheel a second time, $1 super chat. Or join us for the next live tomorrow or next week, whenever it is. Join us for the next live. Join us, throw in a $1 super chat, you get on the wheel again. $10 super chat, you get on the wheel 10 more times. You want to really job it, throw down a $100 super chat, you get on the wheel 100 more times. Don't do that. And then if you're a member of the channel, you will also be entered onto the wheel. I forgot to mention that. Members will be entered on the wheel immediately. For every time we bring out the Wheel of Doom and Glory, members are already entered on the wheel. They don't have to join us in chat. They don't have to add a super chat. They don't have to do anything else. They're already entered on the wheel. So there you go. Join us for the party. Flat Earth Brothers. Jesus Christ. I said it. I'm going to read every single chat. That's what we do. We read every single chat. But that doesn't mean that I give every chat the same love. Because there are no Flat Earth Brothers. Well, you may have Flat Earth Brothers. But this is a decidedly round Earth stream. What is this? The glory spin for a win-win. Access to glory hole. No glory holes. Glory holes are weird and creepy. That's another. That was the other the other bit that I did. My car rant. So I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and this is how it came up onto the rant while I was in the car. Last October, I went to a haunted house, and they had this exhibit. Well, one of the things in the haunted house was it was like one of those how to describe this? It was one of those interactive haunted house play type of things where it's like a murder mystery type of thing, and they had drink themes, and you go through the house and you have the drink, and it's like this room has a specific theme, and you go into that other, and it all kind of came together, and you kind of put together the mystery of what happened and how the house became haunted. Um, there was a room. One of the rooms was you had to find a clue in the room, and the room was the room of holes. You had to reach into like couch cushions or a hole in the plaster in the wall, or into the bureau. There was like a hole in the bureau. You had to reach in, like find something, and not everything had a thing. Some of it had like the gummy worms or the fishing worms or whatever. It was the typical haunted house stuff. You put it in, it's like a spaghetti or whatever. It was gross. That is where I discovered I had a phobia of holes, like putting my hand in holes. I didn't like it. Did not like it, not one bit. Did not want to do that. That creeped me out. All the other stuff was no big deal. The I don't even remember. I don't even remember. This is how traumatic it was. I don't remember what the other rooms were, but this one was weird, creepy, and weird. And I remember and I thought about this, and going back to the farthest back I could go was when I was a kid. The movie Flash Gordon. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a great movie. Flash Gordon. He was like a Jets quarterback. Goes to the alternate dimension, fights Ming the Merciless. It was a great movie. Great, campy, cheesy 1980s movie. Flash. Ah. Great movie. But there was a scene in that movie where some kind of rock with some kind of monster in it, and it was a test of strength, a test of fate. They had to put their whole arm, all the way down in there, and like the monster would like bite them or not bite them. If it bit them, they were going to die. If it didn't bite them, then they survived the challenge. And I remember watching that, thinking that gave me the heebie-jeebies. That's the farthest back that I can remember. That's the earliest instance I can remember of that sort of thing. And then I started thinking that like guys put their junk in anything. Like we've seen it on the internet. We've seen the 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 Reddit post of like, in theory, if you were to have put a part of your body into a constrictive device, what would you need to do to get that constrictive device off of your parts of your body? And I've told my kids are all boys. I've told my kids, if you're not sure you can pull it out, do not stick it in. Whether it's a finger, whether it's your tongue, whether it's your arm, whether it's your junk, whether it's your leg, whatever. Because if you get your arm stuck in a thing, you've got to call somebody and explain to them why you put your arm in a thing. And you can imagine how embarrassing it would be that your arm is stuck in a thing. Think of how embarrassing it would be to have to call the cops to cut you out of a wall or out of a fence or out of a whatever that you got your junk stuck in. Think how weird that'd be. And then as I was making the video last week, like it occurred to me, like whoever came would fully understand it. They'd be all like, yep, that happened to me. And then I was just depressed because because guys are just fucking nasty and will put our junk in anything. Tuna salad? Sure. Whatever. A watermelon, cantaloupe, a fucking roll of toilet paper, uh, water bottles. Guys are just nasty. Y'all need Jesus. Y'all need Jesus. And on the other end of that glory hole it's not some kind of super hot model, nothing. It's probably another dude. It's probably a homeless dude who just wants to get $20. I mean, come on, man. Be better. Anyway, but I say drink your whiskey however you want to. Whatever. Fuck whatever holes you want to fuck. That's all. It's all you. It's all you guys. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Have fun. But I'm just saying. How embarrassing. How embarrassing would it be? How embarrassing would it be to have to call the paramedics because somebody put a wombat trap on your junk? You stuck it through a hole, and they're like, "God, gotcha!" And then they come around and they take your wallet, they take your phone. They're like, "Fuck you, dude! I'm out of here. Bye." And now you're sitting there with your junk in a hole on a trap on the other side of the hole, and now you ain't got a wallet, you ain't got a phone, and your junk is stuck in a hole. You should know better. You should. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why we don't have glory holes at the distillery. Also, because I'm pretty much the only person who works there, so it wouldn't do anybody any good. Fun fact: the hole, the aperture, the opening of a glass furnace where glass blowers put the silicone in to make their glass, that's known as a glory hole. Don't put your junk in there; it will get burned off. Heads up, just so you know. Access to a glory hole. Flat Earth brothers do not believe in the glory hole. Flat Earth brothers, flurfers. Flurfers don't believe in the glory hole. Yeah, I'm not convinced that flat earthers believe in the flat earth. I'm not convinced that they actually believe the earth is flat. It would take a what would it take for me to be convinced that a flat earther believes the earth is flat? I think it would take a cohesive, sensible argument based on experimentation and observation, as opposed to just repeating things that they saw and heard from a website or a YouTube video. Yeah, I think that's what it would take if I actually met a real flat earther in person. Because I've met a couple of people who claim to be flat earthers, but they're just assholes. They don't say they're flat. They say they're flat earthers, but they're not actual. They're not actually. They're just like, oh, I don't want to give NASA the respect, so I just say it's not real. Like, okay, I get that. You're just being a pain in the ass. But if I found somebody who was truly committed, and I said, just explain it to me, like, like what is it? Like you can go out there and you see the sun set. Like, what is that? Like, you think that's just going off into the distance? Like, what about the perpetual days and perpetual nights in the North Pole and the South Pole? Like, I mean, explain to me the actual physics and mechanics of how the world works if it were flat. Like, I would truly want to find somebody who truly believed it. I don't think I've ever met somebody who truly believed it. Because, like I said earlier, even if you don't see the curvature of the earth, even if you don't go out into space and look down and see the blue marble as it spins and rotates underneath you, the rocks will testify. The stars, the sun, the moon, the sky itself, the shadows on the ground, the seasons, the transition from day to night to day to night, the transition from month to month to month to month, the eclipses, solar and lunar, the shadows as they pass around the sun, the moon, the other planets as they pass by the sun, the geometry of the universe testifies, even without you seeing the actual structures in place, the geometry of the world around us. Even, watching the boats slip past the horizon, which most of us don't see. Granted, most of us never see that, ever. But we see the sun, and we see the moon, and we see the shadows, and we can, we see that they're at different angles, and then, as we move down to the, most of us never see the sun directly overhead at the horizon, or at the equator. Most of us never see the moon upside down in the southern hemisphere. I get that. But you see the sun change position between summer and winter. You see it change position in the sky. You see the days get longer and days get shorter. You see the shadow of the moon as it rotates around its axis because it's round. You see the shadow cast that's round of the moon. You see the geometry of the sun and the way it's shaped. Most of us are never going to measure the height of a shadow in Houston and the height of a shadow in Dallas, or the height of a shadow in Chicago and the height of a shadow in Mexico City. Most of us are never going to do that. Almost all of us are never going to do that. But we all can see a shadow go rotate over the course of a day. And that doesn't happen. That can't happen. I mean, you have to sit down and do the math and actually work it out. But if you give it any kind of thought, if you even give a cursory, just like, consideration, it all falls apart. It doesn't make any damn sense. You see the diagrams, you see the drawings, you see, their little model of how the sun and moon are right there and they're tracking around each other or whatnot. If you give it even a little bit of thought, it just doesn't work. Because the moon's bigger than that, the sun's bigger than that, the sun's farther away than that, the moon is farther away than. Like, you can test every one of these theses and see if they're true. You can test every single one of them. Even if you don't really know how to do the math, you can test it and see how it works, because the sun can't be where they say the sun is if the sun can't be where they say the sun is in relation to Earth if Mars and Venus and Mercury and Jupiter and Saturn are where they are. Those planets have to be dramatically different in size and dramatically different in their location for any of that to work. Like, literally, the universe testifies to its own shape and size. Just like with what I was talking about with Bigfoot. Nature testifies to the lack of existence of Bigfoot. You don't have to go out and walk around every square foot of land. You don't have to have a line of men and women, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, arms linked, walk across the continent of North America from east to west and north to south for every square inch of territory, to search every square inch of territory, to know without question that things that don't exist don't exist. We don't have to do that to know that there's no living mastodons, that there's no living unicorns, that there's no Bigfoots, that giants didn't exist. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that to know that dragons weren't a thing. We don't need to do that to know that dinosaurs don't exist. Like, we can look at the evidence that does exist and see that there's no space for it. It's just, like, that's, and it's not even faith. It's just, that you've observed enough of reality to be able to extend the understanding that Mothmen don't exist, that the Loch Ness Monster doesn't exist, that there's not a giant shark living in Lake Erie. Like, we know this. We can reasonably expect there's not enough food for a giant shark to eat. Like, what's he going to eat? What's he going to do? Is he just going to live there for millions of years by himself, eating nothing, and then die without leaving a trace of a corpse? No! That's not how life works. That's not how any of this stuff works. Pure contrarianism, that's the flat earthers, yeah. Those planets weren't... Those planets are just projections on the firmament. It's like a disco ball. That's a good try. The whole universe is a hologram built by the church in the 1400s to confuse us and make us understand that Jesus Christ is the center of the universe. Hallelujah. Amen. That's not how it works. I think this was a rye, but I don't even think it's my rye. Anyway, when we do our memberships, well, we're doing our memberships. When you become a member in the second tier, you will get periodic gifts of samples of whiskeys and brandies and gins and vodkas and other stuff that we make at the distillery. And we will do sip-alongs, and those will be dedicated to member-only sip-alongs. You'll get an invitation, you'll get a date, you'll get a box with a sample, with an invitation, with a date, and an access code. All of that together, and when it comes to your door, then you will know this is the date, this is the time, this is the access code. Old Humble is doing a sip-along. And he's going to tell us what the hell's in this bottle, because it's not going to be labeled. He's going to tell you what the hell's in the bottle, and you're going to get a chance to join me on the show, crack open your bottle, and we'll talk about what we're doing. And then that show will be recorded live with all the members joining us that want to join us. And then after we're done, I'll edit it down to a nice, tidy little segment, and then we'll kick it out to the public. But only members will be allowed to join. Only members get involved with the live, and then the public gets to have the live or the edited, uploaded version after the fact. And that is at the $5 tier, I believe, $4 tier, $4 or $5 tier. I'm not sure which one it is. But the goal is to do this every 6 months or so. And also, I think discounts on merch are included. I don't remember. But there'll be at least every 6 months you'll get something from us. I don't know what it is, but you'll get something. I haven't, 6 months from now, that'll be a thing. But then the roughneck level, that's the one where you get to name our studio. Like this is the Pandemic Studio, set up in March of 2020. The Old Humble Distilling Company Pandemic Studio. Broadcasting live from the Old Humble Pandemic Studio. This is the Old Humble Happy Hour. I might get hit for a copyright if I keep that up. But it could be welcome to the Old Humble Happy Hour, broadcasting live this Wednesday night from the My Wife is Awesome and I Love Her studios, as named by Tater Dom for the month of July 2024. Entirely possible. It also could be the Old Humble Distilling Company Flat Earth is a Real Thing studio for the entire month of December 2023. Actually, that's a community standard thing. I'll probably not do that. That's a community standard thing. I may not do that. Maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I do have standards, and I will not. Maybe it'll be the Flat Earth is a Real Thing studio. Entirely possible. Exactly, Tater Dom. Exactly. We do have a game show that's in development. So the game show is the what did I call it? Let me pull it. Oh, we got a super chat from Commandante Lou. Super chat that puts Lou on the wheel for an extra 10. EANTE Lou for an extra 10 spins. For an extra 10 entries onto the wheel. Commandante Lou says, anyone who's been in space, tell me about the shape of their... Actually, I am hosting at the distillery tomorrow night several dignitaries from NASA. I don't think any of them have been to space, but at least one of them is working on space station, or is and has worked on space station and life support systems for the transit to Mars. And 2 or 3 of them are working on fuel cell and hydrogen fuel cell power plants, power systems for extraterrestrial rovers. So I don't think they've been to space, but they definitely know people who have been to space. And yeah, So I'm super duper excited about tomorrow night, and we may go live tomorrow after I host the dignitaries, because maybe I'll bring the dignitaries on the show. Oh, that'd be fun. I don't know if they want to be on the show. I don't know if they want to be on the show. I think that I should super chat if I abuse your regular. Kelly, you're not abusing nothing, Lou. I'm glad to have you on. Thank you. Um, but yeah, that gives you 10 extra entries on the Wheel of Doom and Glory. That puts you on 11 times. Beep beep. 11 times. So you have increased your odds of winning it's significantly. You are, let's see here, if we got 150 names and you're on 11 times, or 150 entries and you're 10 of them, that's 1/15th, right? Yeah, 1 out of 15. That's pretty decent odds. That's pretty decent odds. Um, what else we got? You've played video games too. Yeah, I may bring back the video games. I need to get a better computer to with better graphics to do the video games. But what we've got a couple of game night options in the works. So one of them is a D&D campaign, which I am developing with a local game master. For I've never done a proper D&D campaign. They look like they'd be fun. They look like they'd be fun to do. Um, so I'm willing to give it a try. I don't know if I'd be good at it. I don't know if I'm a particularly good type of person to be in a D&D campaign. I kind of have a problem with authority. So what is that? I have like a little blue dot on my screen. What is that? Is that the super chat? Y'all see that up there? Or is it just me? Is it just me? I think it's just me. Okay. Yeah, it's not there. Y'all don't see it. No, y'all. Well, do we? Let me look. Move this down here. Is it coming through? Let me, hang on. Yeah, there. That blue dot. Look at that. Look at that. There's a blue dot up there. What the hell is that? It doesn't matter. The chat back where it belongs. Okay. So I'm developing this game. We're gonna see how it works. But I'm also developing a proper game show that will go. The working title is right now. Um, the working title is. Let me see if I can find it. Officer, I'm not as think as you drunk I am, in which we have 5 contestants and a game master. 5 contestants on the show, and those 5 contestants, of those 5 contestants, 2 of them will be legitimately fully drunk. They will have had 2 or 3 shots immediately prior to the game starting. 2 or 3 shots immediately prior to the game starting, and there will be 3 rounds: 1 an introductory round, 2 a mathematics round, and 3 a trivia round. And after each round, the players will have to vote as to who the drunks are. And the goal is to fool the other players. If you're sober, convince them you're drunk. If you're drunk, convince them you're sober. And that's the game. That's the way it's going to go. We got another super chat from William Hall. Welcome to the party, man. William Hall. So you got your name on the list 15 times. Thank you, sir. As well as joining us in chat. William Hall, you've joined us in chat, so you get your name on the wheel 16 times. That's fucking awesome. And I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I thank you for the support. Cheers. Cheers. What do we got? Teardom, happy Wednesday. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for popping in. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. But yeah, so the D&D campaign, it won't be a live stream. It'll probably be an edited stream. Maybe we'll do a live stream for members only, and then we'll edit the footage and put it out for the public. So there's that. And then there's the game show, which will be live for members only, and then submitted out to the general public. And that'll be done on StreamYard or Restream, one of those web-based production programs like that. Probably Restream because I like their platform a lot. But the panel members, the first panel members will be invitation only. The second set of panel members and every panel going after that will be dedicated to members. Members will get first shot, literally and figuratively. Members will get the first chance at being on the show, and then it'll be opened up to invitation for folks that I know that need to be on the show, that I want to have on the show. And of course, those live streams will be available to members only, and then the finished product will go out as a public upload. So membership is what I'm saying is membership will have its privileges. Membership will absolutely have its privileges. You can be on the shows, you can be in the chats. There will be those sip-alongs will be where you get the samples. You get the sip-alongs and the samples. You can join me for the sip-alongs, and you can join me for those sip-alongs. You'll be in the sip-alongs, and then the chat will be open only to members if we do them live. We're going to have some good times. We're going to have some good times, and I'm going to start really promoting the memberships in a couple of weeks. Once I'm done with all the bottling and all the build-out stuff. Once we get our air conditioner installed in the distillery, I'm going to be spending a lot of time at the distillery. My wife's probably going to have to come and get me and bring me home because I'm just going to be there a lot. Can't stay long, very early morning. Well, thanks, Will. Thanks for stopping in. I really do appreciate it. What does it say? D is always good? D&D is always good? Yeah, I mean, and like I was saying, I've never done a proper D&D campaign. I've never done a tabletop game, a role-playing game. I've never done anything like that. Back when I was a kid, we used to dabble with D&D, but it wasn't real D&D quests. We would just like make up stories as we were going along. So I'm not really good with the rigid hierarchy. I don't, the rules of the game. I'm not familiar with them. I don't know how to do it. But I do have a very experienced game master who knows what he's doing, and he has developed this campaign that's based on a real campaign that's in a book, but he's kind of added to it and taken away from it and spiced it up a little bit. I see my heart's bubbling up. What is that? What is going on over here? That is, it's the party confetti one. Cool. That's neat. I don't think I've ever seen that happen as it's been going by. Oops, get rid of that. There we go. Stop it. And I need to get a new computer. I also need to get a new computer. So these super chats, the memberships, all of this stuff goes to the computer, goes to lights, goes to cameras, goes to all the stuff for the studio as we build out. The build out for the tasting room is for the distillery. The studio build out will be a whole nother thing. And it'll be part of the tasting room, but it'll also be its own like thing at the shop. So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. What else was I talking about? And I've got two major media projects in the works. I've got our movie, The Whiskey Run, which will be a made-for-web movie. 19 episodes of 4.5 minutes or so each. And you take 19 times 4.5, and what do you get? 85.5. 85.5 minutes is about the length of a proper feature-length movie. 90-minute movie. So I'm going to do, actually, I think it's 20 episodes of 4.5 minutes each. Average episode length, 4.5 minutes. So we might, cut out some of the episodes I have. But I've already started writing the script. I've got like the first 3 episodes written. The 4th episode is in process. I've even started recording footage for the first couple of episodes. This is good. I mean, it's going to be a fun thing. It's going to be a 1.5 year long project that'll be in the works as we progress through the thing. We will periodically release episodes of The Whiskey Run until we get to the full-length movie. And then when we're done, we'll put it all together, edit it together in a single film, and then release it as a full-length movie. If you want to watch the full 90 minutes, or if you just want to watch 4 minutes at a time, we can do it either way. We can do it either way. And then the major project that was one of the first major projects that I wanted to do, going all the way back to 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, when I started doing the distillery full time at the beginning of 2020. We are going to send a barrel to space. We are going to make space whiskey. Ardbeg did a barrel in a HAB module. They sent a barrel up into a Bigelow module, and it sat there in standard temperature, standard pressure, rotating in 0G in their Bigelow HAB module. But when that was brought back to Earth, it was not good. That was the official. It wasn't as good as the terrestrial Ardbeg. It was special because it went to space and it aged in space for like 5 years. But if you think about it, what gives whiskey aging its unique characteristics is the temperature, the humidity, barometric pressures, the air pressure, the amount of time that it's within a certain temperature range, above 50 degrees is what it takes for it to actually move back and forth inside the wood. All of these things kind of come together to make whiskey, to give it 60% of its flavor. If you take away the gravity, right? So the fluid is just kind of floating there in a glob. It's not going down and up. It's not convecting currents and whatnot. It's just sitting there in a blob. It's all the same temperature, so it's not rotating or spinning or doing anything that fluids do when there's an imbalance in temperature, and it's trying to balance out that temperature throughout the when it's conveying that temperature through the fluid. It's not interacting with the wood because only the outside is touching the wood and the inside isn't, because it's not having that rotational convectional currents within the fluid. So what they ended up with was this whiskey that had aged well on the outside where it sat there and touched the wood, but on the inside of the fluid, it just didn't age very well. So they had this whiskey that was just weird. It didn't taste right because it wasn't properly, it didn't properly age. Yeah, I don't know how you solve that problem in space, in standard temperature, standard pressure. Maybe you spin you spin the barrel to make a Coriolis effect inside the fluid, inside the barrel, to make it start interacting more with the wood. I don't know. That's not what I want to do. I want to, because of the extreme temperature fluctuations we have here on the Gulf Coast, the extreme temperature fluctuations, the extreme pressure fluctuations, the extreme fluctuations of all the conditions that we have. I want to take this whiskey all the way through the atmosphere, all the way through the extreme conditions that you get from ground level all the way up to the edge of space. And I want it to experience all of those pressure interactions and temperature interactions, and then recover the barrel and bottle the whiskey. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. It's a dumb idea. There are some people, in fact, who would say, why? Some would say, why space whiskey, whiskey man? To which I would tell them, we choose space whiskey not because it is easy, but because it is hard. And I expect it will also create a delicious whiskey. Space whiskey. We are prepared to launch. We choose to do this and the other things not because it is easy, but because it is hard. It will focus our energies and our resources on scientific and whiskey development. We choose to do these things and the other things, not because they're easy, but because they're hard. God damn, it gives me chills just thinking about it. And we will recover that barrel, and we will proof that whiskey, and we will bottle that whiskey, and we will sell that whiskey, and you will be able to get a bottle of space whiskey. From Earth to the stars and back. I don't know. That's probably a $20. That'd probably be a $20 sample of space whiskey right there. I don't know what to price it at yet, but I do know that the whole project's going to cost about $6,000, maybe 10. And those will be other live streams that'll be available to members only. In fact, we'll probably do behind the scenes stuff that are available only to members. There's a bunch of stuff that I want to do available only to members. We're probably going to do a live memberthon in the next 2 or 3 weeks, where we start Friday and we go till Sunday, and it's just available to members. Just get memberships, with a goal of getting like 10 memberships. I don't need a lot. I don't want a lot. I just want to be able to have a tight group of members. I don't need hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. 5 or 10 would be good. It'll be fine. If you consider the space doesn't exist, space doesn't exist. I was not expecting that, Lou. All right, what do you got here? If you consider that space doesn't exist, it's much easier to focus on the science of Earth and make great booze here. I was not expecting that. Thank you for the laugh. I do appreciate that. That was good. What happens if I push that? Oh, I can like the super chats. I'm gonna go back and like yours too, Lou. There it is. Bip. Nice. Any others? No, that was just the 2, right? Okay, good. Why is there a blue thing there? Oh, fan funding. So I can reduce it so it's just super chats that come up on the feed. Oh, that's so cool. So now I can say so I can do live. I can do live streams so that the only way you get on the show is through super chat, or the only way I see it is super chat, or the only way you get on the Wheel of Doom and Glory is through super chats. No, I won't do that. I won't do that. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Anyway, okay. What time is it? 11:30. We got 30 more minutes. Go until midnight. 30 more minutes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20, 30 more entries onto the Wheel of Doom and Glory tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for your support, for joining us for the show. I really do appreciate it. We started this channel as an extension of the company, as an extension of the distillery, to put out like videos of doing stuff, unboxing things and whatnot. And it basically was immediately dormant from 2014 till 2019 or so. 2015, 2016. And even in 2016, I did a little bit of stuff, but I didn't do much. I did the Ad Twins ad and some other stuff, but not really a whole lot. Then the pandemic hits. And I can't go out and do my tastings at the stores. I can't go out and do my demos. I can't go out and do anything. I'm stuck. So we developed the show that was a happy hour show. Me and my lovely wife, we'd sit out in the back patio. We talked about our traveling and drank whiskey. Talked about our favorite trips, our favorite locations, our favorite place to go. She wasn't really into it. She didn't really like it. I enjoyed it. We hooked up with this group called Cabin Fever, who did live streams. A bunch of artists and performers who had lost their stages, and they did live streams over on Twitch. So we extended our brand over to Twitch. Did our happy hour twice a week on YouTube and Twitch with the Cabin Fever live stream guys. And it was fun. We went from like 20-something subscribers, 19, 20 subscribers, somewhere in that neighborhood, up to, over the course of a year, like 500 subscribers until the end of 2020 or so. 500, maybe 500, maybe it was 100 subscribers. I can't remember. But then towards the end of 2021, we had like 500 subscribers, and we kind of plateaued at 500 through 2021. one, give or take. And then I started taking the channel seriously. In 2022, Bourbon School just joined us. Cheers, Bourbon School. Bourbon School. Then in 2022, I made a push to get more, more better at doing shows. Revamped our happy hour show. Did some more stuff. 2022 comes and goes. We get up to, I don't know. I think we stayed around 500 subscribers. We didn't really grow much in 2022. I was, just bumbling around, not really doing much of anything. But then February 2022 comes around, and that's when I go, okay, you know what we're gonna do? We had been sitting at 500 subscribers for a while. Then February 2022 comes around. I say, okay, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start my 100K, my Project 100K. Project 100K was my effort to go from 40,000. We had 40,000 views, basically 40,000 views from March 2020 to February 2022. My goal was to have 100,000 views by the end of 2022. That was the goal. Project 100K. I launched it in February 2022, and that's when I started I did more live streams, pared back, I was doing movie review shows and all kinds of entertainment nonsense that just wasn't getting any traction. Nobody was watching it. It wasn't engaging to anybody. I stopped with all that shit. Cheers, Bourbon School. Welcome to the party. Thank you for joining us. You have been added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Thank you for your support. Project 100K. We started doing live. I did like 5 live streams a week in March. The war in Ukraine had just started, so one night was dedicated to the war in Ukraine. One night was dedicated to something. One night was dedicated to something. We did trivia shows with me and Lisa. I was pumping out the content, just pumping out shit in 2022, all with the goal of getting to 100,000 views by the end of the year. In March, I started doing shorts. I started adding shorts to the repertoire of shows. And ultimately, by the end of between February and May, I was growing my audience and growing my views and steadily growing more. But I wasn't getting more views for shows. I was just doing more shows. And then from May to August, we added something like 25 to 35,000 views a month using the shorts. And the goal of 100,000 views came and went, and we had 100,000 views by the end of August. And the subscribers were rolling in. We went up from 500 subscribers to 600 subscribers to 700 subscribers to 800 subscribers to the point where we passed 1,000 subscribers by November 2022. And part of my promotion for doing 1,000 subscribers by November 2022 was that if we hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of November 2022, I would fight a kangaroo. I would fight a kangaroo. And just so y'all know, I did in fact get a chance to fight a kangaroo. There it is. I fought a kangaroo. I kicked his ass too. I won. That was November 2022. We passed 1,000 subscribers in November 2022. And by the end of 2022, we had about 500,000 views on the channel. I am super happy to announce I made the transition at that point from views to watch hours. I wanted to go from the watch hours that we had. We were hovering around 2,000 watch hours. I need to double it to get to the full monetization field. I am super happy to announce that as of early August, we had passed the 5,000 or 4,000 watch hours mark, and we had monetized the channel. So now we have super chats, as you see in the live chat. We have super chats. We have memberships. We have ad revenue. In fact, check this out. Don't go anywhere. Did it work? We got ads. Is it in there? I want to know what ad. I want to know what ad. Let me know what ad you get. I'm not getting one on my phone right now. It says the ad was inserted, but I'm not seeing one on my phone. Who's Brian? Oh, Bourbon School. Got it. um, okay, so it said the ad was inserted, but I didn't see one on my phone. I want to know what ad you get. I want to know who the sponsors are on the show. I want to know. I want to know who's sponsoring the show. Who's helping fund all this nonsensical shit. Earlier, it was all that's good. Earlier, we had allingoodmeasure.com. Food that was food that is good for blood sugar. Who's that? Bourbon School got a Monopoly ad. Okay, so that app for Monopoly, the Monopoly phone app, cool. Parker Brothers, I believe. Is it Parker Brothers? I can't remember who does Monopoly. No, Milton Bradley is Monopoly. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we got Monopoly. Everybody go download the Monopoly ad. Show them that you listen to the Old Humble guy. You saw their ad on Old Humble and you're downloading their app. Thanks so much, Bourbon School. Appreciate that. But I'm super happy that and not only that, but I also got the notification that on my whatchamacallit, I'll show you what I got. Not only have we passed, not only have we gotten the monetization goal, not only did the Project 100K bring us in where we need to go, we are at, look at that number right there. You see that? Where's it at? Oh, you see it? No, you can't see it. Can I turn it this way? Hang on. Do this. Hang on. I'm going to crop it and make it better to easier to see. Done. Save to photos. Open up photos. Might make it easier to see. Did that work? There we go. Does that work? Can you see that number? You see that number? That's the number of views we have as of today. 1,022,011. On our about page, it says something like 960,000. I don't know. They're wrong. That one's wrong. That's the right number. So I'm super duper excited. We passed the million views mark. We're getting about 30,000 views a month. I'm super duper excited the way everything's coming together. Most of the views are still coming from shorts. I would like more of my views to come from our longer form videos. Those are still struggling to get 100. You were usually in the 50 to 100 range. I would much rather 13 to 50 range. I'd much rather see those get 100 million views. But that's mostly SEO work, and I'm working on doing SEO work better, trying to get better with that. But what it boils down to is I really do appreciate the support. I'm elated with how the channel's growing. I've got more whiskey content coming. I've got a video that I'm working on, a script that I'm working on for a video about aging and how aging matters. How age statements matter in context, but they're not everything all by themselves. Another couple of entries to our Aging Zones of Texas series. I've got a bunch of stuff in the works, but what it boils down to is I'm a whiskey maker with a YouTube channel. I'm not a YouTuber with a whiskey distillery. So a lot of the stuff that I want to do on YouTube kind of has to get pushed to the side because of A, resources, and B, time. But eventually we're going to get to the point where we have our whiskey operation and our media operation, and the media operation will include live concerts, game shows, game nights, videos, pre-recorded stuff, informational videos, edutainment, if you will, from the distillery. I've got a lot of stuff that I want to do with this channel, but a lot of constrictions with time and money and all that stuff. And that's one of the reasons why we do super chats, one of the reasons why we do memberships. So again, I do appreciate your support. Not begging. Spend your money. I'd rather, honest to God, I'd rather you buy a bottle of whiskey. I really would. I would much rather box up a bottle of whiskey and send it to your house than have to worry about cameras and lights and all, and turning. But also, I look forward to doing expanding the media arm and doing media stuff with the YouTube channel. This is a fun little adventure. I'm thoroughly enjoying this aspect of the business and the distillery. So all of that to say, Bigfoot's not real. Bigfoot's not real. Dinosaurs existed. Giants didn't. The Earth is round. Space exists. The moon is not a painting. Birds are birds, not robots. 9/11 actually happened. It wasn't an inside job. COVID vaccine is not something to sterilize 2 generations of humans. I don't know what other stupid conspiracy theories you need here. There really was. Oswald did kill Kennedy. What else? Roosevelt didn't let. Well, Roosevelt might have let Pearl Harbor happen. That's a tricky one. Okay, so the Pearl Harbor conspiracy, that might be real. But there's a difference between could have stopped it and didn't, and knew about it and didn't do anything. Because if he could have stopped it and didn't, that's one thing. That's like 9/11. I'm not sure if we could have stopped 9/11 if we tried. Might have been able to disrupt it. Yeah, we probably could have stopped 9/11 if we tried. But I don't know if they could have stopped the Pearl Harbor attack. I don't know. I haven't read enough about it. My understanding is that he may have had intel that it was going to happen, but not specific enough intel to know that it was going to happen at that day at that time. Maybe enough intel to know they should have been on higher alert, but even if they were on higher alert, they may not have been able to prevent it. They may have only been able to react to it. See what I'm saying? There's a nuance there. Like, even if everybody had been on high alert, it still would have happened. Would it have been as bad as it was? Maybe. Maybe it would have been worse. I don't know, because all the soldiers would have been all the sailors would have been at the base. So maybe it would have been even worse. I don't know. Anyway, but on the 9/11 front, like we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, like would they have been able to stop it? Maybe. Like all it would take would be arresting like 3 or 4 people, right? Like they'd have been able to disrupt the plan and arrested 3 or 4 people, and then the whole thing would have fallen apart. Maybe. Maybe they only would have been able to disrupt it and not really stop it. Maybe. It's hard to know. But they didn't have the intel then that they have now. They didn't have the ears on the ground. They didn't have the wiretapping capabilities. They didn't have the monitoring capabilities that they had. Honestly, if anything, it was a lack of imagination, right? Because everybody's like, they wouldn't do that. No way they would do that. That couldn't happen. 4 planes at the same time? That's cuckoo. That's cuckoo bird crazy. Lack of imagination. I mean, just saying. We are planning this. It was not an inside job. That's why I called the show a couple of weeks ago How America Got Stupid. Like, that was the uber conspiracy theory that the first truly internet age conspiracy theory that got legs and grew through YouTube and stupid internet shit. The first truly algorithm-based conspiracy theory. Like, name a conspiracy that happened before that grew to the levels of that. That's the one. That's the one. That's the conspiracy. Because after that, you had the Sandy Hook. After that, you had Marjorie Douglas. After that, you had all the false flag. Oh, that's a false flag operation. That's when Alex Jones really, really got his groove of dumb bullshit conspiracy nonsense. And until Sandy Hook, he just accused the government of lying. Once he was done, once he started accusing actual individual civilian human beings of lying, that's when he hit the defamation stage of his career. That's when he got put over a barrel and reamed out. Read the 9/11 Commission report, dude. I read the 9/11 Commission report. It was not an inside job. Like, we literally know what happened. Minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. We know what happened. Guys, it's time for me to wrap it up. It's what, midnight? Is it almost midnight? Quarter midnight. 10 to midnight. 10 to midnight. 10 to midnight. No, but that's what it was. It was a lack of imagination. They were like, no, this can't happen. And then we started getting imagination. We arrested a guy at the border who was going to blow up the Space Needle in Seattle. We arrested a guy who was going to blow up his shoes. We arrested a guy who was going to blow up his underwear. We arrested guys who were going to put together chemicals in Gatorade bottles that were going to bring. That was a real credible threat too. That was like hours away from actually being pulled off. But yeah, our imagination wasn't nearly as wild as the terrorist imagination. When they were like, whoa, we'll just put explosives into my underwears. Hey. My terrorist became Italian at the end there. We just put explosives into my underwear. And psh, 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 psh. Like, their imagination was much more wild than our imagination. Our imagination was like, nah, who would do that? That's cuckoo. Who's going to take 4 planes at the same time? Even though they had talked about doing it with the Eiffel Tower, running a plane in the Eiffel Tower. And we were like, no, they wouldn't do that. They tried to do that, but like, nah, they can't do that. Eiffel Tower is like mostly empty space. Like, who's going to run a plane into that? And then a couple years later, they were like, let's blow up the World Trade Center. And they're like, they can't blow up the World Trade Center. It's a whole building. What are they, crazy? Those fucking dirt herders in Afghanistan, they don't even know how buildings work. And then they smashed a couple of planes into the buildings, and then we were like, holy fuck, we don't know how buildings work. Holy shit, we're all gonna, oh my God. I'm telling you, it was surreal. It was surreal to watch it. But don't forget the Christmas tree. Don't forget the Christmas tree. What are you talking about? I need to know what do you mean don't forget the Christmas tree? What? What? You need to no, no, sir. You need to give us context. What the fuck are you talking about? Don't forget the Christmas tree. What? You need to flesh that out. I need to know more. What are you talking about? Don't forget the Christmas tree. I need to know context for that statement. Fun show. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Will Longshanks get meat? No. There we go. All right. I do want to know what you mean. I do absolutely want to know what you mean. I'm going to sit here and wait. I'm going to wait. I want to know what that means. I'm going to get comfortable while I wait. Don't forget the Christmas tree. Was there a Christmas tree in the 9/11 debris? Was there a at the World Trade Center? I mean, these were people that actually like my favorite stupid 9/11 conspiracy theories were that these planes didn't exist, that they landed the plane, took the people off, destroyed the plane, and then hit the buildings with missiles. Like, we saw the plane hit the second tower. We know it was a plane. We saw it with our own eyes. And like the plane that landed crashed in Pennsylvania, we know that plane existed. The people were on that plane. The conspiracy, the part of the conspiracy theory is like, no, they landed that plane and the Mossad took the people off the plane and they took them onto a private plane and flew the private plane to Israel, and the people who were on that plane now are in Israel. Like, okay, sure, okay. Oh, the people who were on the Malaysian flight that disappeared, there were 27 viral scientists who were involved in finding vaccines for viruses. And then just a couple years later, COVID. Like, that's easily Googleable. That's not a fact. That's not a thing. That's not truth. FBI, Portland, domestic terrorism. Christmas tree? FBI, Portland, domestic terrorism? Okay. Yeah, I know Portland has had some issues with the Free State of Portland, or whoever it was that took over that block of the city in Portland. The fucking radicals and terrorists, the people the people who are accused of being Antifa. I'm out of whiskey. I need to pour myself a fresh drink and wrap up the show. Actually, I don't. I need to pour a final shot and then wrap up the show is what I need to do. But there's been so much. It's distinctly different in the 21st century than it was in the late part of the 20th century, because we had our radicals. I mean, the radicals, to the large extent, are the same radicals. They're the anti-government militia types, the Branch Davidian, Waco, Ruby Ridge, wackadoos, all those guys. The organized groups. I mean, there's the organized militia groups, and then there's the unorganized groups that just kind of come out and they have their tennis rackets that they're smacking tear gas back at the cops. It's one of my favorite stories from Portland. One of my friends, Sam Damaris, talks about how he was in Portland. He was on tour. He's a comedian. He was on tour as a comedian. He comes out and they're having the riots in Portland for whatever, the Black Lives Matter riots in Portland, and the people are coming out on the streets. The cops are throwing tear gas, and Sam is a large black man, dreadlocks down to middle of his back. He's an imposing figure. Sweetest damn guy. He's like a fucking teddy bear. If you know Sam, you've seen his butt. That's the kind of guy Sam is. He will show you his ass. But not in like a sexual way. He'll just show you his ass. And then he's there and he's in the riots, and he's like the whitest black guy you'll ever meet. And he's hanging out with a couple of dudes, and as the riot is going on, the unrest or whatever, and the cops are riling up the crowds. They're trying to tea kettle them. They're trying to steer them into a crowd so they can disband them, or tea kettle them up and then move them out and neutralize them. And they're throwing tear gas onto the streets to kind of push them into off of these streets and onto those streets. That tactic and strategy that they use. And these guys are like, nah, it's all right. They put down a bag and they pull out gas masks, and they hand a gas mask to Sam. They put on their own gas masks, and then they pull out tennis rackets. They're like, we got this, homie. And the tear gas comes, and they go, thwack! They hit the gas canister with the tennis racket and serve it right back, or volley it right back to the servers. And Sam was like, these are the whitest fucking white guys I've ever known. I love this. That's such a great story. Oh. Hitting gas canisters back at the cops in the middle of the riots in Portland. Uh, anywho, uh, so that's the end of that. We're gonna wrap it up. It's a 12 o'clock. It's a 12 o'clock. We're gonna wrap this up with a parting shot and a parting toast. Have been, and will continue to be the Old Humble Guy, your spirit guide and host for all things whiskey. This is my Boomtown Bourbon. It is delicious, nutritious, and it makes you a better dancer. And it's also not nutritious. Did I just see Sunflowers rejoin chat? No, JLM getting in right under the wire. Cool. What just happened? JLM getting right under the wire. Is that it? Yeah, we're there. JLM. I did not change my screen though. There he is. JLM getting right under the wire. Yeah, Sam is also just. I've wanted to get Sam on the show so many times, but our schedules just do not connect up. He's on the West Coast. I'm here in Texas. When he's in town, next time he's in town, I so desperately want him to get on the show. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll actually be able to get him in the distillery and do a live stand-up set from the distillery. That'd be fucking awesome. JLM has joined chat, and you have gotten your name on the Wheel of Doom and Glory. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 25, 32 additional entries onto the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Thoroughly appreciate the support. Thoroughly appreciate everybody coming in. Just coming in and chatting is support enough for the show. I do appreciate it 100%. I was about to sip on a beer and fall asleep. Well, I am the kind of guy who would help you fall asleep because I am boring as hell. Cheers, Commandante Lou. The earth is not flat. Your head is flat. Your face is flat. That was one of the insults from on Roxanne. You flat-footed, flat-faced, flat-headed. Who was he insulting? I can't remember. But it was God. Roxanne is such a great movie. Go watch it. Steve Martin, Cyrano de Cyrano de Bergerac is the book that Roxanne is based on. Great movie. Great book, for that matter. Great book. It is a literary classic. But I could go on and on, drone forever and ever and ever and ever. But we're not going to do that. Oh, hey, we popped 2330. We were at 2320 when we started the show. We're at 2330 now. That's awesome. Thank you again for everyone's support. I'm going to close that. Is that the one? Counter? No. Close that. I like to see it like count. I'm going to close it. And 3, 2, 1, open. I like to watch it scroll up, count. Thanks for your support, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all are awesome. I aspire to be awesome. And I hope to one day become awesome. With your help, I'll be able to do that. You enjoy the movie too? Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. I should do a top 100 movies show, or at least a top 10 movie show. God, the best movie is gonna be hard to pick. Like obviously, Smokey and the Bandit and Firefly or Serenity are up there in the top 5. Maybe that's what I'll do. Do tiers of 10. The bottom, my 90 through 100 in no specific order. Like I should be able to order them out by tens. Like these 10 are definitely movies that I would watch in the background. And as we move up we get to the movies where I would sit and watch them and recite word for word things that are happening in that movie. Yeah. Anyway, that's for another day. Cheers to all of you, beautiful, fantastic, wonderful people. This is a filthy glass. I need to wash this glass. Cheers to all you beautiful, fantastic, wonderful people. May the road rise up to meet your feet and the wind always be at your back. And may people speak about you when you're not around in dulcet tones that they speak about you when you are. Cheers. Good night.